So welcome to Beauty of Colors podcast, Jeff. It's great
Thank you
to
for
have
having me.
it's great to have you on the show. What was the driving force of you coming about with your book? And I must say it's interesting and the topic did get my attention.
Thank you. Um, yeah, so I lost my dad to suicide when I was 18. And um, this past February was the 25th anniversary of his death. And so in in 2020, I decided I would tell my story and um, my struggle with the same anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation that he experienced, with hopes that I can just provide a couple of tools to people who struggle similar to me through this memoir. So, so yeah, that's why I wanted to do it, and I think that I say that it's not a self-help book. I think there's lots of tools out there to combat suicide. Um, and so my goal with the book is to just share a couple that have been, um, critical in keeping me alive. And then I also am launching a podcast called Suicide Survival Stories,
Nice.
where other
Mhm.
people can share their stories and their tips and, hopefully just lower the stigma on talking about suicidal ideation specifically, because the stigma around talking about mental illness and mental health has changed over the past 20 years.
Mhm.
But even still, it's really hard for people to say out loud that they think about suicide. And so, but the more that those suicidal thoughts stay in our heads, the more poisonous they get. So I'm hoping to just, contribute to that conversation
Mhm.
um, and help as best as I can.
Okay. Well, you were very brave to talk about your struggles and with mental health. And why do you think suicide and suicidal thoughts are so prevalent today?
I mean, I think today specifically, over the past 18 plus months in the pandemic and in quarantine, I
Mhm.
think that it's we don't really know yet how this is all going to affect us in a from a mental health standpoint, and how it has affected us. And so I think that you know the loneliness, the isolation, um, can contribute. And then I think also the being trapped with other people can contribute. So I think that can, depending on how you're wired, um, as an extrovert who's trapped with people or an introvert who's alone, um, you can, it could play out either way. So I think that's what's really prevalent in the recent past. Um, but I think suicidal ideation comes in lots of forms. I mean, it's just not, it's not a one size fits all um, thing, and some of it is situational, and some of it is chemical, and
Mhm.
some of it can be PTSD. Um, so that's what's so baffling um, about the suicide epidemic, is that there are just so many different ways that you can come to be in the presence of consistent suicidal thoughts, um, that it really does take a lot of different voices and different tools, because even if a certain tool helps you at some point, doesn't mean it's always going to help you. So it's sort of a very fluid situation, and I think the biggest key is intentionality around sharing and
Mhm.
being open about you know what you think about, and what you struggle with, as best as you can, with some combination of friends, professionals. um but yeah, I think that's what's happening right now. It's a very nuanced um situation that needs a lot of voices and a lot of folks helping each other.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of attention is needed. Yeah. And how can your readers push through their own dark moments?
So the biggest tip after, just talking more and sharing in general, that I try to offer with my book and the structure of the book is, um, these are the people, passions, and experiences that bring me joy in my life. This is, my memoir is made up of stories rooted in those three elements.
Mhm.
And when I'm in my darkest moments, connecting with those memories gives me that perspective and that hope. That in that right darkest moment is the reprieve that I need. And so remembering, it's easy to lose that connection with the people or the passions or the experiences that bring you joy. And so being intentional about those things and keeping, trying to keep those memories close at hand, really helps me when I am in my darkest moments. And my hope with the book, um which is, we didn't even say the title, which is called Don't Effing Kill Yourself. It has a asterisk. But my hope with the book is that people see their own stories in mine. So whether it's a memory with a grandparent or with a friend, or I talk a lot about baseball. If you're not, I try to write in a way that even if you're not passionate about baseball, it connects you with, hopefully it will connect you with something that you are passionate about.
Mhm.
um, and just sort of introduce that mindset and that small tool of that connection. Because the more that we remember the things that
Mhm.
bring us joy,
Yeah.
the more we can also remember that more of those things are possible if we stay alive.
Yeah, that is so true. And what resources can you recommend to the readers and your listeners who struggle with mental health? And how can they get a copy of your book?
Um, so you can get a copy of my book on Amazon, the ebook or a paperback. And then on my website and in the book, I share some, professional resources,
Mhm.
including the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, um, the crisis text line,
Mhm.
RAIN, the Trevor Project, and then the Giving Kitchen, which is local here in Atlanta,
Okay.
that provides free suicide prevention training for any restaurant worker.
Mhm.
So all of those sites are and organizations are linked on my website, which is www.suicidesurvivalstories.org. And you can also, there are links to the book on my website as well.
Okay, sounds good. So, do you have a copy of the book? And could you say the title again so people
Yes.
can, the listeners can get a good, you know,
Yes, I do have a copy. Yeah, so it's called Don't Fucking Kill Yourself.
okay. Mhm.
And I don't know if you're explicit on here or not,
No, no, no,
but
that's okay. I wanted
so
you to say it.
yeah, in the on the
Mhm.
title of the book, there's an asterisk in the U, but yeah, it's called Don't Fucking Kill Yourself. So if
Oh,
you search
mhm,
Amazon for that with
mhm,
my name, Joff Romig,
mhm,
ROMIG,
mhm,
you'll be able to find it. And the ebook is still, for another week or so, the ebook is still on sale for
mhm.
99 cents. So
Okay, sounds good. Okay, Jeff. Well,
thank you
it
so
was,
much for
oh,
having me.
it was a pleasure to have you on the show. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank
Jeff. You
you.
take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.